You clicked on this video at exactly the right moment, and that timing isn't random or coincidental. That precision and perfect alignment isn't just luck or chance happening in your life. Only winners discover this message when they're supposed to find it, when their consciousness is ready to receive it. And the fact that you're here right now, watching these words, means the universe just confirmed something about you that you've been sensing and feeling, but maybe haven't fully trusted or believed yet. You are operating on winner frequency, vibrating at the level of success consciousness. Even if your current circumstances and external reality don't reflect that truth yet, there's been a signal running through your entire life, hasn't there? A consistent pattern that keeps emerging and showing itself, revealing glimpses of what's truly possible for someone exactly like you. Moments when everything aligns perfectly and effortlessly, when opportunities appear from absolutely nowhere, when you feel this unstoppable momentum building and growing inside your very being. These aren't accidents or random occurrences. These are direct confirmations that you've been selected and chosen for something much bigger and more magnificent than what you've been settling for and accepting. The universe has a winner identification system that most people never trigger or activate because they've been programmed and conditioned to think like victims, to expect limitations and restrictions, to prepare for disappointment and failure. But you're different and unique in your approach to life. You've been tagged by cosmic intelligence as someone capable of handling and managing winner level reality. Someone who can be trusted with abundance and prosperity. Someone who won't waste or squander the gifts they're given and blessed with. This winner identification process has been happening your entire life, through every experience you've had. Even during the moments when you felt like you were losing or failing, especially during those challenging moments and difficult periods. Because here's what winners understand that others don't comprehend or realize. Every apparent setback was actually a setup for a comeback that wouldn't have been possible or achievable without that exact experience and learning opportunity. You've been in winner training without realizing or recognizing it consciously. Think about how elite athletes are identified at young ages and early stages. Not because they're already champions or proven winners, but because they demonstrate certain qualities and characteristics that indicate championship potential and winner capability. The same process has been happening with you throughout your journey. But instead of physical abilities and athletic talents, the universe has been observing and monitoring your consciousness patterns, your resilience quotient and mental strength, your capacity to maintain hope and optimism when logic suggests surrender and giving up. Every time you chose to believe in something better and more positive, despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary and opposition, you were demonstrating and proving winner consciousness. Every time you maintained your vision and dreams when everyone else thought you were being unrealistic and impractical, you were proving your worthiness for winner level reality and demonstrating your qualification for success. Every time you refused to accept less than you knew you deserved and were capable of achieving, you were broadcasting a clear signal that caught the universe's attention and recognition. The reason you found this video right now, at this exact moment in your life, is because your consciousness has reached the frequency where winner level information can be received and integrated successfully. You're no longer operating from survival mode and scarcity thinking. You're operating from success mode and abundance consciousness. And success mode requires a completely different understanding of how reality works and operates, how opportunities emerge and manifest, and how the universe responds to people who know they are meant to win and succeed. Most people spend their entire lives trying to convince themselves they deserve good things and positive experiences. But you've moved beyond trying to convince yourself and prove your worthiness. You've entered the realm of knowing and inner certainty. This knowing doesn't come from external validation or logical reasoning and analysis. It comes from a deep cellular recognition that winning is your natural state and default setting, that success is your birthright and inheritance, that abundance is the universe's default setting for someone operating at your frequency level and consciousness vibration. But before we move forward into this deeper understanding, I want to invite you into something real and transformative. If you've been feeling like something's making sense and clicking for you, and if a part of you is realizing and recognizing your own power and potential, Tap like if you just had an aha moment, because like attracts like, and subscribe to this channel. Stay with this space and energy, grow with us and this community. Also join our manifestation club on gogetter.au to get inspired by reading manifestation stories and share your story to inspire others who are on similar journeys. You've been receiving winner signals your whole life, but you were taught and conditioned to interpret them as luck or random chance, as coincidence or fortunate circumstances, as random good fortune that might not happen again or repeat itself. But what if I told you that what you call luck is actually your natural state, leaking through the conditioning that taught you to expect struggle and difficulty? What if what you call coincidence is actually the universe's precision delivery system responding to the winner frequency you've been broadcasting and transmitting? Every time you walked into a room and felt like you belonged at the highest level and most successful tier. Every time an opportunity appeared just when you needed it most desperately and urgently. Every time you made a decision that felt risky and uncertain but turned out to be exactly right and perfectly aligned. Every time you trusted your instincts over everyone else's advice and guidance and it paid off beautifully. These weren't flukes or random occurrences. These were confirmations and proof that you have access to winner level intelligence and cosmic guidance system. Let me paint a picture of what winner frequency looks like in action and daily practice. You know that feeling when you walk into a business meeting or social gathering and you immediately sense where the real power is in the room and who holds the influence? That's not social intelligence or learned skill. That's winner radar and intuitive recognition system. You know how sometimes you meet someone and within minutes you can tell whether they're going to be successful or not, even before they tell you anything about their background or credentials? That's winner recognition technology and consciousness detection system. You've been tuned into something most people can't even detect or perceive because most people have been programmed and conditioned to tune into limitation frequency and scarcity consciousness. They are scanning for problems and obstacles, expecting difficulties and challenges, preparing for worst-case scenarios and negative outcomes. But winners scan for possibilities and opportunities. They expect breakthroughs and miraculous outcomes. They prepare for success scenarios that seem impossible and unrealistic to everyone else around them. This scanning system isn't something you developed overnight or learned from books and courses. It's been refining itself through every challenge you faced and obstacle you overcame. Every moment when you chose to believe in something better and more positive despite what your eyes could see and physical senses could detect. Every time you maintained hope and optimism when logic suggested you should give up and surrender. Your capacity to perceive beyond the obvious and surface level has been expanding and growing. And now you're at a threshold where that expansion is about to accelerate exponentially and dramatically. Think about how certain songs immediately transport you to specific moments in your past and vivid memories. How certain smells can trigger vivid memories and emotional states. How certain environments instantly shift your energy state and emotional frequency. Your consciousness works the same way with success patterns and winner frequencies. When you encounter winner frequency in any form, whether it's a successful person or role model, a breakthrough opportunity or life-changing moment, or information like what you're receiving right now, your system immediately recognizes it as familiar territory and comfortable environment. This recognition isn't based on past experience or learned behavior. It's based on future potential and destined outcomes. Your consciousness can perceive and sense the success patterns that you're destined to embody and express naturally. This is why certain people inspire you immediately, while others, regardless of their credentials or achievements, leave you feeling flat and uninspired. This is why some opportunities excite you at a cellular level and energetic frequency, while others, even if they look good on paper and seem logical, feel wrong in your bones and intuitive system. The reason certain messages activate something deep inside you while others feel like background noise and meaningless chatter is because your consciousness has become a magnet for winner level information and transformative content. Not entertainment or distraction, not comfort or temporary relief, but activation codes that remind you of who you really are beneath all the programming that taught you to think like everyone else, to want what's safe and conventional, to settle for what's acceptable instead of reaching for what's extraordinary and magnificent. Your winner frequency has been broadcasting a very specific signal and energetic transmission, and that signal has been attracting exactly the right information, people, and opportunities to prepare you for this moment when everything shifts into a higher gear and accelerated timeline. The synchronicities haven't been random or meaningless occurrences. The timing hasn't been coincidental or accidental. The perfect storms in your life haven't been punishments or bad luck. They've been precisely orchestrated preparation for winner level reality and success consciousness. In the comments, drop one word that captures the energy you're choosing to carry forward and embody from this moment on. Maybe it's alignment, maybe it's ease, maybe it's power, maybe it's something uniquely yours and personally meaningful. Let that word be a small but profound declaration, a signal like a quantum seed you plant not just in this space, but in quantum field of infinite possibilities. You've been through the fire lately, haven't you? The pressure and intensity, the uncertainty and confusion, the moments when everything you thought you knew about success seemed to crumble and fall apart. People may have counted you out, overlooked your potential and capabilities, made you question whether you were really meant for the level of success you've been dreaming about and visualizing. But every moment of that struggle was forging something inside you that can't be broken or destroyed. You've been in the cosmic gymnasium building winner muscle you didn't even know you needed and required. But here's what nobody explains about the winner development process and consciousness evolution journey. Those difficult periods weren't random suffering or meaningless pain. They were systematic preparation and strategic development. Every challenge you faced has been precisely calibrated to activate specific aspects of your consciousness that you'll need to navigate winner level reality successfully and gracefully. The struggles weren't punishment or bad karma. They were initiation into a completely different way of operating in the world and relating to success. Think about how champions are made through disciplined training and consistent practice. They don't just wake up one day with extraordinary abilities and natural talents. They go through training that looks impossible to outsiders, that breaks down their old patterns and rebuilds them stronger, faster, more resilient, and capable. The pressure isn't meant to destroy them or break their spirit. It's meant to transform them into someone capable of performing at levels that seemed impossible before the training began and transformation occurred. Consider how a diamond is formed through natural geological processes. It starts as ordinary carbon, but under extreme pressure and heat over enormous periods of time, it becomes one of the hardest, most valuable substances on Earth and highly sought after material. The pressure wasn't trying to destroy the carbon or cause harm. The pressure was creating the diamond and precious gemstone. The same process has been happening with your consciousness and inner development. Every betrayal that broke your heart was teaching you to trust your inner knowing above all external voices and outside opinions. Every failure that crushed your ego was showing you that your worth isn't dependent on outcomes or external achievements. Every period of isolation was developing your capacity for self-companionship and inner strength that can't be shaken. Every financial struggle was purifying your relationship with abundance, removing the blocks that would prevent you from handling massive success with wisdom and responsibility. That's what's been happening to you during the difficult periods and challenging seasons. Your winner consciousness has been developing and maturing. The parts of your identity that were built around limitation and restriction, around accepting less than you deserve and are capable of, around believing that success is for other people but not for you, those parts have been systematically deconstructed so that a completely different operating system could come online and be activated. This is why the old solutions stopped working and became ineffective. This is why the strategies that used to bring you small wins suddenly felt empty and exhausting to implement. This is why relationships and situations that once felt comfortable started feeling constraining and limiting to your growth. You weren't failing at life or doing something wrong. You were outgrowing life as you knew it and expanding beyond previous limitations. Your consciousness was expanding beyond the boundaries of what your previous reality could contain and hold space for. The universe was preparing you for winner level existence and success consciousness reality. But here's what makes this preparation process so sophisticated and intelligently designed. It wasn't just developing your capacity to handle success and manage abundance, it was also developing your capacity to create success from nothing and generate opportunities where none existed. Every time you had to find a way when there seemed to be no way forward, you were developing winner level resourcefulness and creative problem solving abilities. Every time you had to maintain faith when all evidence suggested you should give up and surrender, you were developing winner level certainty and unshakable belief. Every time you had to keep moving forward when you couldn't see the path clearly, you were developing winner level trust and surrender to the process. These aren't just psychological qualities or personality traits. These are the specific consciousness skills required to operate at levels where most people's minds can't even imagine success being possible or achievable. The universe doesn't waste anything or allow meaningless suffering. Every moment of confusion was building your tolerance for uncertainty and ambiguity, which is essential when you're creating unprecedented levels of success and breakthrough results. Every period of isolation was developing your capacity for independent thinking, which is crucial when you're operating outside consensus reality and conventional wisdom. Every time you had to find strength you didn't know you had within you, you were discovering resources within yourself that exist beyond personality and conditioning, beyond anything you thought you knew about human limitation and perceived weakness. You probably felt it building recently and gaining momentum. This internal pressure, like something inside you, is expanding beyond the boundaries of who you thought you were and what you believed was possible. It's uncomfortable because transformation into winner consciousness always is challenging. The old identity is dissolving while the new one emerges and takes shape. And that space between who you were and who you're becoming feels like chaos and confusion. But here's what nobody explains about this transition zone and metamorphosis process. That chaos is actually coherence reorganizing itself at a higher level and more sophisticated pattern. Think about what happens when a caterpillar becomes a butterfly through natural metamorphosis. For a moment, it's neither caterpillar nor butterfly clearly. It exists in a transitional state that defies easy categorization and understanding. From the outside, it looks like dissolution and destruction, like everything is falling apart and breaking down. But what's actually happening inside the chrysalis is extraordinary and miraculous. The caterpillar doesn't just grow wings and learn to fly gradually. Its entire cellular structure dissolves into what scientists call imaginal soup and primordial substance. A primordial substance that contains the blueprint for an entirely different form of life and way of being. From the seemingly chaotic soup, butterfly cells begin to emerge and organize themselves into wings, antennae, and all the structures necessary for flight and aerial navigation. The caterpillar's crawling consciousness is being transformed into the butterfly's flying consciousness and elevated perspective. This isn't just evolution or gradual change. This is metamorphosis into winner consciousness and complete identity transformation. The caterpillar could never imagine what it would be like to fly, because flying consciousness is completely outside the realm of crawling consciousness and ground level perspective. The same transformation is happening with you right now in this very moment. That's where you are right now, in the quantum transition zone, where your old operating system is being upgraded to run winner level programs that were impossible in your previous configuration and limited setup. This transition isn't random or accidental occurrence. It's been orchestrated by your higher self, the version of you that exists outside linear time and can see the entire trajectory of your success story and destined outcome. That version has been seeding your current reality with exactly the right challenges, opportunities, and wake-up calls to prepare you for this moment when everything shifts into winner gear and accelerated timeline. The pressure you've been feeling isn't pressure to become something you're not or fake who you are. It's pressure to stop pretending to be something you never were in the first place. It's the winner in you demanding to be expressed and lived fully, demanding to be embodied without apology or compromise or playing small. This pressure will only intensify until you stop resisting it and start cooperating with it willingly. Think about what happens when you try to hold a beach ball underwater in a swimming pool. The harder you push, the more forcefully it wants to rise to the surface naturally. Your winner consciousness works the same way with natural laws. The more you try to suppress it, minimize it, or convince yourself to be realistic and practical, the more powerfully it pushes toward expression and authentic manifestation. But here's what's fascinating about this transition zone and transformation process. You're not just developing new capabilities and skills from scratch. You're recovering capabilities that have always been yours, but were suppressed by conditioning that taught you they were impossible or unrealistic to achieve. Children naturally expect magic and miracles. They assume that anything they can imagine can happen easily. They don't distinguish between realistic and unrealistic goals because they haven't yet learned that artificial distinction and limiting belief system. Winner consciousness is not about becoming someone new and different. It's about remembering who you were before the world taught you to doubt yourself and question your capabilities. Before you learned to settle for less, before you accepted that struggle is normal and ease is suspicious or undeserved, you're not developing winner consciousness from nothing. You're recovering it from beneath layers of programming that convinced you to play small and accept limitations. The discomfort you're feeling isn't the discomfort of growth and expansion. It's the discomfort of old limitations, dissolving and falling away naturally. It's like removing a cast after a broken bone has healed completely. The cast served a purpose for a time, but now it's constraining healthy movement and natural function. The process of removal feels strange and vulnerable, but what emerges is stronger and more capable than what was protected by the cast and artificial support. Your old identity served a purpose and had value. It kept you safe during a phase of development when you needed protection and security, but now it's constraining the movement of your winner consciousness and authentic expression. The dissolution isn't destruction or loss, it's liberation and freedom from artificial constraints. What emerges from this transition won't just be a better version of who you were previously. It will be a quantum leap into a form of consciousness that operates by entirely different principles and natural laws. Something is building inside you right now as these words land in your consciousness and resonate with your inner knowing. Can you feel it? That electric sensation of recognition, like every cell in your body is saying, yes, this is what I've been waiting for. This is what I've always known was possible. This isn't just inspiration or temporary motivation. This is activation and awakening of dormant potential. The winner frequency that's been dormant in your system is coming online and becoming active. Every spiritual tradition throughout history has described this moment in different language and cultural context, but they're all pointing to the same phenomenon and universal experience. The moment when human consciousness recognizes itself as winner consciousness, temporarily having a limited experience and restricted perspective. When this recognition moves from intellectual understanding to cellular knowing and embodied wisdom, everything changes dramatically. Not because the universe suddenly starts responding to you differently or treating you special, but because you finally start responding to the universe as the creative force you've always been and natural birthright you've temporarily forgotten. What you interpreted as losses were actually course corrections and divine redirections. What looked like missed opportunities were the universe protecting you from settling for less than what's truly aligned with your winner destiny and highest potential. Everything that seemed to go wrong was actually going exactly right, according to a timeline you couldn't see from your limited perspective and temporary vantage point. The delays weren't punishment or evidence you weren't worthy. They were preparation for handling winner level success with wisdom and maturity. The waiting wasn't wasted time or lost opportunity. It was integration time, allowing your consciousness to expand enough to receive what's been prepared for you in the quantum field of possibilities. Think about how a concert pianist prepares for a performance and mastery of their craft. Years of practice, scales, exercises that seem boring and repetitive to an outside observer who doesn't understand the process. But every repetition is building the muscle memory, the neural pathways, the unconscious competence required to perform at the highest level when it matters most and under pressure. Your difficult experiences have been serving the same function and purpose, building the consciousness infrastructure required for winner level performance and authentic success expression. But we need to go deeper into this preparation process because it's more sophisticated than most people realize or appreciate. There's something about your specific journey that I need to share with you right now. Something that will change how you see everything that's been happening in your life and give new meaning to your experiences. Something that will help you understand why this moment, this exact moment, is the turning point you've been unconsciously preparing for your entire life and working toward through every experience. Let me share something personal with you that will help you understand why you're here at this exact moment receiving this information. 3 years ago, I was sitting in my apartment at 2 a.m., staring at bills I couldn't pay, questioning everything I thought I knew about success and abundance and manifestation principles. I had been studying consciousness, quantum physics, manifestation, all of it for years. But nothing was working the way the books and videos promised it would or guaranteed results. I felt like a fraud talking about winner principles while my bank account said otherwise and contradicted my teachings. I had all the knowledge, all the techniques, all the positive thinking tools that everyone swears by and recommends highly. But something fundamental was missing from my understanding and application. I was trying to add winner strategies on top of victim consciousness and limiting beliefs, like trying to run high-performance software on an outdated computer system. The system kept crashing and producing inconsistent results. That night, something shifted dramatically in my understanding and approach. I stopped trying to convince myself I was a winner and started investigating what was blocking me from embodying winner consciousness naturally and authentically. What I discovered changed everything for me personally, not just for me, but for thousands of people who've since applied these principles and experienced similar breakthroughs. The breakthrough wasn't learning something new or acquiring more information. It was unlearning something false and releasing limiting programming. I realized I had been operating from the assumption that I had to earn my place in winner reality through hard work, that I had to prove myself worthy of success through achievements, that I had to overcome my limitations and transcend my circumstances through effort and struggle. But that entire framework was backwards and counterproductive. Winner consciousness doesn't come from overcoming your limitations through force and struggle. It comes from recognizing that the limitations were never real in the first place and have no actual power. They were perceptual distortions created by a consciousness that hadn't yet remembered its true nature and unlimited potential. It's like someone who's been wearing colored glasses their entire life, suddenly taking them off and realizing the world was never the color they thought it was naturally. That night, I accessed something I call my essential winner consciousness and authentic identity. The awareness that exists beyond all the conditioning, beyond all the stories about why success is hard or why I might not deserve it or be qualified. This consciousness doesn't doubt or question its worthiness. It doesn't need proof or permission or perfect conditions to operate. It simply knows that winning is its natural state and default setting. When I stopped trying to become a winner and started being a winner from my core identity, everything changed dramatically. Not gradually through years of hard work and personal development courses, but immediately and instantaneously. The opportunities that had been invisible suddenly became obvious and available. The people I needed to meet started appearing in my life naturally. The resources I required started flowing naturally and effortlessly. But here's what was most shocking and surprising. None of my external circumstances had changed yet at all. I was still in the same apartment, still had the same bills, still had the same challenges and obstacles, but my relationship to those circumstances had completely transformed and shifted perspective. Instead of seeing obstacles, I saw opportunities for creative problem solving and innovative solutions. Instead of feeling victimized by my situation and circumstances, I felt excited about the game I was playing and the adventure I was living. Within 6 months, my entire reality had reorganized itself around this new frequency and operating system. Not because I worked harder or longer hours, but because I worked from winner consciousness instead of victim consciousness and scarcity thinking. The same actions produced completely different results because they were coming from a completely different source and energetic foundation. If what I'm sharing is activating something deep inside you and resonating with your inner truth, if it's touching that place where you've always known you were meant for more than what you've been accepting, then hit that subscribe button right now and join this community. Subscribe not just to this channel and content, but to this frequency and energy, to this community of people who refuse to settle for average when they know they are capable of extraordinary achievements and breakthrough success. Subscribe to stay connected to the energy that transforms lives and creates miracles. Because here's what I discovered in that moment and what I'm going to share with you right now. The secret that the entire personal development industry doesn't want you to know, because it would put them out of business overnight and eliminate their profit model. Here's what the success experts won't tell you about winner consciousness, because it threatens the entire industry built around struggle and gradual improvement through courses and programs. Winners don't work harder than everyone else or put in more hours. They work from a different frequency entirely and operate from elevated consciousness. They don't overcome obstacles through force and willpower. They operate from a reality where obstacles dissolve naturally without resistance. This isn't positive thinking or mindset work or mental tricks. This is quantum mechanics applied to consciousness and reality creation. In quantum physics, particles exist in multiple states simultaneously until they are observed by consciousness. The act of observation collapses all possibilities into one specific reality and outcome. Your consciousness is the observer in your life experience. Your attention is the force that collapses infinite potential into specific manifestation and concrete result. When you consistently observe yourself as the winner you truly are at your core, reality has no choice but to reflect that observation back to you through circumstances and experiences. But here's where it gets really interesting and powerful. Your inner winner self isn't just a future possibility or goal to achieve. They exist right now in the quantum field of all possibilities, and they're broadcasting their frequency constantly to you. Think about how radio works and signal transmission. There are hundreds of stations broadcasting simultaneously in the same space, but you only hear the one you're tuned into clearly. All the other signals are present in the same space and available, but they are not accessible to your awareness unless you adjust your frequency dial to match their transmission. Winner reality works exactly the same way through quantum mechanics. Your job isn't to become them through effort and time. Your job is to tune in, to match their vibration, to live as if the gap between who you are and who they are has already closed completely. This isn't pretending or fake it until you make it mentality. This is recognizing what's already true at the quantum level of reality and infinite possibility. Every time you have an inspired idea about your success, that's your winner self, downloading information to you about what's possible and available. Every time you feel a sudden surge of confidence, that's your winner self lending you their energy and certainty. Every time you catch yourself thinking thoughts that feel bigger than your current reality and circumstances, that's your winner self influencing your present moment consciousness and expanding your perception. This collaboration isn't metaphorical or imaginary communication. It's actual quantum communication between different versions of yourself existing in parallel realities and dimensions. Your winner self has access to information about the path to success that your current self can't see yet clearly. They know which choices will accelerate your evolution and which ones will slow it down unnecessarily. They know which people you need to meet, which opportunities you need to recognize, which risks you need to take for maximum results. They're constantly sending you signals and guidance, but you have to be in the right frequency to receive them clearly and accurately. This is how consciousness operates outside the constraints of linear time and space limitations. Past, present, and future exist simultaneously in the quantum field of infinite possibilities. Your winner self isn't waiting for you in the future timeline. They're broadcasting to you from the eternal now, trying to help you recognize that the success you're seeking isn't something you have to create from nothing. It's something you have to allow and align with naturally. But here's where most people get stuck and create resistance. They think they have to convince themselves to believe in possibilities that feel foreign to their current system and experience. They think they have to force positive thoughts over negative emotions through willpower. They think they have to fake confidence until they feel confident naturally. This approach creates internal resistance because it's based on the illusion that you're not already a winner at your core. The truth is, You don't need to become worthy of success through achievements. You need to recognize that you already are worthy inherently. You don't need to earn your place in winner reality through hard work. You need to accept that you've always belonged there naturally. You don't need to overcome your limitations through struggle and effort. You need to see through the illusion that limitations define you or have real power. Every limitation you think you have is actually a misperception created by focusing on the wrong frequency and paying attention to scarcity programming. When you tune into winner frequency consistently, those limitations don't disappear because you overcome them through force. They disappear because you realize they were never there in the first place and had no actual substance. It's like waking up from a dream and realizing that all the problems in the dream weren't real problems or threats. They were just experiences in consciousness without any lasting impact. The shift everyone's talking about, the global awakening that's happening right now across the planet, you're not watching it from the sidelines as an observer. You're part of it and contributing to it. You're one of the nodes in the network that's anchoring winner frequency on this planet for everyone's benefit. Your individual transformation isn't just personal development or self-improvement. It's contributing to a collective elevation of consciousness that's been building for decades and accelerating rapidly. You probably noticed that things that used to work in the world aren't working anymore effectively. Systems that used to seem stable are collapsing or becoming obsolete. People who used to accept limitations are demanding more and refusing to settle. Old patterns of success through struggle are being replaced by new patterns of success through alignment and flow. This isn't chaos or societal breakdown. This is reorganization and evolution. The entire structure of how success happens is being upgraded to support winner consciousness and authentic expression. Think about how technology has evolved in recent decades. We went from computers that filled entire rooms to smartphones that fit in your pocket and have more processing power than NASA used to send people to the moon successfully. The same kind of quantum leap is happening with consciousness, technology, and human potential. The old paradigm required years of hard work, gradual improvement, paying dues, climbing ladders, and earning your way to success through sacrifice. The new paradigm allows for instantaneous transformation, quantum leaps, miraculous breakthroughs, and success that appears to come from nowhere, but is actually the result of consciousness alignment and frequency matching. This is why you've felt different lately and experienced internal shifts. Why old patterns suddenly feel impossible to maintain or continue. Why you're craving bigger challenges, more authentic success, impact that actually matters to you. Why small goals that used to motivate you now feel like settling for less than your potential. You're being called forward because the world needs people who remember their winner nature, who refuse to accept limitation as reality, who live like miracles are natural and expected rather than rare exceptions. But here's the crucial part that determines your results. This window of accelerated transformation won't stay open forever or indefinitely. Right now, the barriers between intention and manifestation are thinner than they've ever been in human history. Right now, the universe is responding faster to clear, coherent winner energy than at any other time in recorded history. Right now, if you align with winner frequency consistently, changes that used to take years can happen in weeks or even days. We are living in what quantum physicists call a phase transition and evolutionary leap, a moment when the fundamental structure of reality shifts into a new configuration and operates by new rules. Like water suddenly becoming steam at the boiling point, consciousness is suddenly becoming capable of things that were impossible just moments before the transition. You're not just experiencing personal transformation and individual growth. You're experiencing species-level evolution and collective awakening. The waiting season is over and complete. Not because external conditions have finally aligned with your desires, but because you finally aligned with your true nature and authentic power. Not because you become worthy through achievements and accomplishments, but because you remembered you always were worthy inherently. Not because you earned it through sacrifice and struggle, but because earning was never the point or requirement in the first place. You belong in winner reality right now, but belonging there requires embodying it now in this moment. The universe has been preparing you for this moment your entire life through every experience. Every challenge that tried to break you actually broke you open to receive more and expand your capacity. Every disappointment that seemed to set you back actually set you up for something bigger and better. Every time you had to find strength you didn't know you had within you, you were building the capacity to hold the magnitude of what's coming into your life. If this strikes a chord and fills a gap for you, consider staying connected here by subscribing and hitting the bell icon next to it. If your brain just went, damn, I needed to hear that. Not because it's an obligation, but because it feels right and aligned. This isn't just a channel, it's a frequency and community. If you felt a nudge or a shift while watching, you're already tuned in and resonating. We're not just watching content, we are practicing new ways of being and operating. We're not just absorbing information, we're creating possibilities and expanding our reality. We're not just learning concepts, we're remembering who we truly are. I'm truly glad you're here in this moment. Let's keep growing and shifting together into our winner consciousness. The synchronicities are accelerating and becoming more frequent. The opportunities are multiplying and expanding exponentially. The right people are showing up at exactly the right time with perfect timing. The resources you need are flowing toward you from unexpected directions and surprising sources. This isn't coincidence or random luck. This is what happens when someone finally aligns with their winner frequency, and the universe can deliver what's been waiting in the quantum field of infinite possibilities. What you desire isn't separate from you by time or space or external circumstances. It's separate from you by frequency and vibrational alignment. And frequency is something you can adjust right now in this moment without changing anything external or waiting for conditions to improve. It starts with a simple recognition that changes everything about how you approach success and relate to your goals. What you want wants you back with equal intensity. The success you've been imagining has been imagining you too and calling you forward. The abundance you've been calling in has been calling you toward it simultaneously. This principle operates on the understanding that consciousness is not localized to your brain or even your body alone. Consciousness is a field that permeates everything, and individual awareness is like a radio tuning into specific stations within that infinite field of possibility. When you desire success, you're actually resonating with a frequency where that success already exists and is available. Your desire is proof that you have the capacity to tune into winner frequency and access that reality. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to perceive it as possible or feel drawn to it naturally. But most people treat their success like they are trying to pull it toward them from a great distance. They think they have to work hard enough, wait long enough, prove themselves worthy enough to eventually attract what they want through effort. This approach creates resistance because it's based on the illusion of separation and scarcity. It assumes that you and your success exist in different locations, and you have to somehow bridge that gap through struggle. The quantum understanding is completely different and more empowering. You and your success exist in the same field of consciousness already. You're not trying to attract it from outside yourself. You're trying to align with it and recognize your natural connection. The difference is subtle but profound in its implications. Attraction implies effort and distance and working to get something. Alignment implies recognition and resonance and allowing what's already yours. When you align with winner frequency consistently, you don't just draw success to you gradually.